Good evening, fuckers, and welcome to the next Train Simulator Classic request video. This one is another request from Mick DC, and yeah, this is also the first appearance of both Root and Loco for these videos. It is rather surprising for both of them. So the route is settled to Carlisle. At long last, this incredibly scenic route is finally going to make an appearance, and we're going to be doing the entire length of it. So we are starting at Settle, destination is Carlisle, and we will be making a stop along the way, which is unusual given that this is a freight run, but you can't do the Settle to Carlisle run and not make a stop at Ribblehead, so we will be doing that. That will be the only stop we are making. And as far as the train itself, the Loco is the class 59. I love the 59s. They're great. I mean, they're not quite up there with, you know, my big favourites of the freights, freight trains, which would be the 56, the 58, and the 92. But yeah, these are great. These things. The train itself is quite light. Actually, a 59 will have no problem with this whatsoever. It has 10 JNA wagons. No, I don't have a clue what JNA stands for. They are rather large aggregate wagons. Unfortunately, they're all empty, but yeah, it can't be helped. I'll also point out now, this is actually the second time I'm doing this. The first time I did it was about 1 o'clock this morning, and I did the entire run, but there was something just didn't quite strike me as being quite right about it. It was only when we got into Carlisle station I realised I had player train only selected, because there's another video which I will be doing fairly soon, which is another driving guide video, and that particular video needs the Faversham high speed route, which of course keeps fucking up unless you have player train only selected. So yeah, I still had that selected and forgot to turn it off. Needless to say, yeah, it's now well and truly off, so it's not going to be player train only. Although Settle to Carlisle is a relatively quiet line, so we're probably not going to see a great deal of you know, other trains anyway, but oh well. Right, so as far as the specifics, it's spring, it's clear weather, because yeah, we want to get some good looks at the scenery here. So it's a fantastically scenic route, this, and it's 11 AM because why not? Right, let's get this underway. So here we are in our class 59 at Settle station, and yeah, you can see these aggregate wagons are a fair size, but yeah, we've only got 10 of them and they are all empty, so it's really not going to be difficult for this train. I'm certainly not going to have the same kind of issues that I had in the previous freight run in the class 58. So let's get the cab set up. So we want cab lights on. Desk light I think is actually can't be switched off. Right, instrument lights on. We want the marker lights on. Tail lights are, we don't need those, so that is all okay. One thing I will point out about this loco, and it's something that really gives it an advantage over the 58 in the previous run. You see here we have pass for passenger and goods for goods, believe it or not, and this is the brake mode that is being used. So we can change this up here, the brake control. So if we move it down, it's now on passenger, but we don't want that, we want goods. So put it back to how it was, and there we go, goods is now lit up. And what that means is that the brakes don't come on as hard, they are slower to apply, but it doesn't completely eliminate all the wagons bashing into the back of the train and that, and possibly derailing it, as happened in in the class 58 video, but it does massively reduce it. So yeah, it's a big help. So right, let's take a look at the lights. I don't think they're quite set up how I want. That is, yeah, that is it. So I think that is this thing completely set up. So Carlisle is just shy of 71.5 miles away. So let's get the brakes off. So you can see on the brake gauge here how slow the needle is moving. So the brakes are a lot slower to release. They're also a lot slower to apply, but that is because I've got it in the goods mode. So let's get underway. So it's rather handy that we start on a section of track with a 60 mph limit. Now let's just double check what right, so yeah, I'm in a original class 59. Top speed of these is 60 mph, so yeah, that's the speed limit that we are on. Let's take a look at our surroundings as we leave settled. And make our way to, or further into, the Lake District. So I don't think it's exaggerating things in the slightest when I say that the class 59 pretty much revolutionised rail freight overnight. The instant it arrived, it just completely transformed it. There was only ever 15 class 59s actually in operation. It's not because they were unpopular, they certainly weren't. It wasn't because they were expensive. Yeah, it's a very different reason as to why there was only 15 of them. I suspect most of you already know it, but the thing is, none of the class 59s were ever owned by British Rail. They were all privately owned. So they came, well, they started manufacturing, I dare say they actually came into service the same year, so 1985. I can't remember the name of the company it was that wanted them, but it was the biggest aggregates and building materials supplier in the country. They're based somewhere in Somerset. And they were, understandably I think, getting a bit sick of the fact that when it came to doing their deliveries of aggregates by rail, 40% of their deliveries were late. And we're not talking like 5 minutes late or something, we're talking hours, and in worst cases we're talking days. And this was due to the reliability, or lack thereof, of the trains that were, or the locos that were being used. They were using Class 56s from British Rail. And as much as I like the Class 56, I am quite a fan of it. The 56 had terrible reliability. Really, really bad. And yeah, this company got fed up with it. So they came up with their own sort of design brief for a freight specialist locomotive. And a lot of the specs looked like, yeah, it was a Class 56, but there was one area in particular that differentiated it from that, and that was reliability. On their design brief, they had stated that they wanted reliability of 95%. Now, to be fair, they did do it all by the book, and they did it all, quite legit. And they went to British Rail with this design brief, and they asked them, right, can you make this for us? And British Rail, I mean, they didn't dismiss the idea out of hand. They went to all the major UK manufacturers that they always contract their build orders to, so obviously Brell, Brush Traction, English Electric, and they all came back with the same answer: we can't do this. 95% reliability, they just couldn't do it. So British Rail went back to this aggregate slot and was saying, yeah, it can't be done. Horton in Ribblesdale is the station that we're approaching in a mile. So yeah, the train that was yeah, being asked for couldn't be built. So they weren't going to take no for an answer. So if it couldn't be built in this country, they looked to manufacturers overseas. As much as it pains me to say it, the manufacturer that said yes, we can do that, and took the job, was American. It was General Motors. And what they built was the Class 59. And it's got the power. It's 330 horsepower the engine produces. So yeah, it's certainly got the power. So that was Horton in Ribblesdale station. Pretty small station, pretty small village. So yeah, 3,300 horsepower engine. Supremely impressive torque figures. It was going to have no problems pulling the loads that was asked of it. It was very modular in design, rather like the Class 58. And just in case you're wondering why the aggregates company didn't ask for Class 58s, they had been built specifically for coal runs. And British Rail basically said, you know, no, we need them for, yeah, coal runs to power stations. We don't have any to give you for aggregates. And I mean, it wasn't built for aggregates, you know, freight. So yeah, getting Class 58 was not an option. So yes, they got this 59, and by far the most impressive thing about it was that the reliability that they'd asked for, 95%, was reached. In fact, they managed what was, to a lot of the engineers and the manufacturing companies in this country, was impossible. They surpassed the 95% reliability, and the Class 59 actually had 99% reliability. And because of that, it instantly became the train that all the other freight companies wanted. But perhaps unsurprisingly, the first rival company that it was another aggregates supplier. They wanted one, but they wanted it with some pretty hefty upgrades and modifications made to it. So it had improved engines. In fact, that 3,300 horsepower I mentioned, that was the improved version. The original one had less than that. I think it was somewhere in the region of 2,700. But yeah, the improved ones, yeah, they had the 3,300 horsepower engine. This Ribblehead Station is the next one coming up. So it will start coasting. We go a 30 mph speed limit as we approach that station. So yes, the improved, upgraded version came along. That became the 59/2. There was only 5 of them made. So yeah, that's 5 out of the total of 15 that was built. We need to start braking a bit here. Braking a bit too hard. That's the somewhat late warning about the speed limit. I mean, then again, none of the trains on this line would be going like blisteringly fast, so it probably didn't need to be any earlier than it was. I mean, I have, shock horror, braked far too soon. So we're in the 30 mph section now. I'll continue my story of the 59 once we've left Ribblehead Station. We are on a 1 in 100 climb, so that's also helping with the speed reduction. we don't really need to worry about, you know, getting all of the carriages on the station, because yeah, there aren't any. So here we are at Ribblehead. I mean, it really is a station that is in the middle of fuck all nowhere. But the great thing about this is, yeah, what's up ahead. The I can't remember the name of it. This huge viaduct. Right. Wait for the brakes to get fully released. Unfortunately, we are now only on the 30 mph section, but nevertheless, we'll get back underway. I did actually forget to mention this is a diesel electric loco. I do drive it somewhat recklessly for a diesel electric because yeah, the ammeter here, yeah, I frequently have that going way into the red, as I did just then. So single line as we go over this viaduct. If anyone knows the name of it, feel free to bung it in the comments. What a sight. Love to see this thing in real life. I mean, this is a line I would really like to do. I mean, this could certainly rival the Weirhead and was it, or the Weardale and Teesdale route, as far as being, like, you know, the most scenic in England. So, to continue with the Class 59 story. So, yes, this rival company had got their 5 very much upgraded and improved Class 59s. And, unsurprisingly, more companies wanted the same, with yet further upgrades to the engines, the brakes, to everything, but engines and brakes were, like, you know, the main things, which they got. You know, they got those upgrades, and that loco was the Class 66. So if you're wondering why the Class 66 and the Class 59 look identical, as we now reach a 60 mph zone, it's because, yeah, as far as the actual, like, bodywork and all that is concerned, they are identical. It's all down to, like, the internals as far as the difference between the two. And when the 66 came along, I mean, the 59 had already revolutionised rail freight, but the 66 just built on that reputation even more. And it became the de facto freight locomotive of the UK, and still is to this day. And so much so that the largest rail freight company, certainly at the time, which was EWS, they put in an order for some class 56s, 66s. Yeah, they put in an order for 250 of them. And they got all 250. Bearing in mind that when they had previously ordered, I think it was 100 class 56s from British Rail, that took, I think it was 5 or 6 years for them to deliver. Yeah, for them to deliver the entire batch of 100. So how long do you reckon it would have taken to get a batch of 250 locos when they placed the order for the class 66? Nope, you're wrong. It took 26 months. Barely over 2 years to have 250 locos built, delivered and up and running. I mean, it's hard to believe, but yeah, that is genuinely what they, you know, genuinely how long it took them to get that many. Yeah, another viaduct. There's no shortage of viaducts on this route. So we have a reduction to 30 mph coming up in, you guessed it, a mile and a half. That's as we approach Dent station, which, yeah, we won't be stopping there. We're not stopping anywhere now until Carlisle. But one other fact about the Class 59, which shows just how fantastic a freight train or freight loco it was and still is. This holds the record for pulling the heaviest train in the UK. And what weight do you suppose that was? There you go, that was your countdown timer there. But no, it was just shy of 4,500 tons. Now I'm sure, you know, since then it's probably been, you know, bettered by a Class 66, possibly a 92, very possibly a 99. But yeah, a single Class 59 was pulling a train loaded with aggregates, no surprise, 4,500 tons. One single Class 59 loco. Right, there is Dent Station. And once we are, the entire train is in that 60 mph zone. A very welcome speed increase. There we are. Now watch the ammeter here, it's just... I'm quite surprised. I thought that was going to shoot way into the red. In fact, it stopped before the red. So, yeah, that's not bad going. So did the 59 and subsequently the 66 sound the death knell for all other freight locomotives? Pretty much, yes. I'll say, when EWS got that order in for 250, they basically retired a significant number of locos that they had been using. Now, granted, that did include some that were or had been running since the 60s. You know, so trains like the 47, the 37, the 31. I mean, all decent locos. You know, there's nothing wrong with any of those trains. They're all great. But EWS wanted a fleet that was like completely standard, and you know, by replacing everything with the Class 66, yeah, they certainly had that. And yeah, because the 59 and the 66 were both very modular, using the idea from the Class 58, things like maintenance and you know, if they had to replace parts, took no time at all. It was an incredibly simple job, which you couldn't say about any of the locos that they were replacing in the EWS fleet. So yeah, all of those 60s locos were basically gone, but they went even further. They replaced all of their Class 56s, which of course is a train from the 1970s. And in fact, the 56 had also gone through a bit of a transformation. It had engine upgrades, brake upgrades, weight distribution upgrades, which is certainly fucking needed. It had upgrades all over. And that new upgraded one, as we approach Carlisle station, yeah, that new upgraded loco became the Class 69. Yeah, they all got replaced. The Class 60 was replaced, although the Class 60 hadn't exactly endeared itself because of reliability issues again. We have another viaduct that we are heading over. And EWS weren't done there. They even replaced, you know, they used the Class 66 to replace all of their Class 92s. Now, personally, I think that is a step too far. The 92 did not need replacing at all. But nevertheless, that's what they did. So their fleet basically consisted of nothing but Class 66. It has, of course, rather turned round and bitten them in the arse a bit, because now with the rather stupid emissions law, which the Class 66 does not meet, they are going to have to replace all of their Class 66s almost certainly with a new Class 99. And as much as I hate to say it, I very much doubt that the Class 99 or the Class 93 will ever appear in Train Simulator Classic. Well, unless Alan Thompson decides to do a third-party version, in which case it will cost an extortionate amount and need about 500 quid's worth of Armstrong Powerhouse DLC just to be able to use the thing. Because let's face it, that's what he did with the Class 745 and 755. Two trains that I would like to have in the game, but his price for them is outrageous, and so many fucking ATS and AP you know, DLCs required to use those trains in your game. Just renders it like completely out of the question, certainly for me. And I suspect for the majority of people who watch my videos, because there's no getting around it, people who watch my videos are not going to be like the hardcore Train Simulator enthusiasts. They're going to be like the casual players like me. So yeah. Right, so we are now on a 1 in 100 downhill section, and this goes on for quite a while, so it is going to be a spot of controlled braking. I need to get into the habit of using the keyboard controls for the braking. So. But it doesn't matter how little I apply the brakes, I can't get the speed to stay at a constant. It's either going up or it's going down, but you know, even if I put just a tiny amount of brakes on, there you go, like that. But yeah, you can see speed is now coming down, so I can't get it to stay as a constant as much as I would like to. But you'll notice that, I mean, okay, it is quite a light train, and it's only 10 freight wagons that make up this train, but nowhere on this run have I had any of the issues of the wagons bashing into the back of this thing and, you know, knocking our speed up and possibly derailing us. And that is because of the braking system that this train has. The 66 also has it, the 92 has it, and I'm pretty sure there are other trains that that have it, but I haven't been able to find the control for it. I did read that the Class 87 has it, but I mean, I've never been able to find it there, although to be fair, I've never looked for it on the 87, so I think the Class 60 has it as well. Again, I can't remember exactly where it is on the 60, but yeah, I'm fairly sure it is on there. So anyway, Carlisle is now less than 45 miles away. In fact, yeah, we have been losing speed for a while. It's the downhill gradient has leveled out a bit, 1 in 330. But yeah, it is returning pretty soon, so I probably shouldn't throttle up because our speed's going to increase through gravity any moment. So now we're on the 1 in 100, and yeah, the speed is now going up. One other thing I do like about the 59, we've had a little chance to hear it, I don't think we'll get the chance again for a little bit, is the engine sound. When it's at full throttle, it sounds like a fucking jet engine. It is quite distinctive. Not as distinctive as the Class 66 engine, but yeah, there's certainly it's certainly noticeable. Kirkby station is the yeah, next one in a mile and a half. Wasn't there some crappy Commodore 64 game called Kirkby? Or was it Kirby? Yeah, it was Kirby, wasn't it? Not Kirkby. So the ground will obviously level out a bit around that station, but once we leave it, yeah, we're back onto the 1 in 100 downhill section again. So get a look. So again, not a hell of a lot here. There you go. The village as it is seems to consist of one road. It's rather like when I was living in Canada. I was in a tiny village in the way out in the sticks, and yeah, it did consist of one road. Let the speed drop down to about 55, or just into the 55s, and then yeah, we'll let it pick up again. So it looks like this downhill gradient stops in about a mile. But believe me, it does come back. I mean, you can't be driving a train through the Lake District and not expect plenty of gradients on the line. Another viaduct. Just caught that in time. Yeah, we're now on a completely flat ground, so let's we'll only take it up to about like notch 3, maybe 4. Yeah, 3 is fine. But yeah, once I get the chance to put it into notch 8, you get to hear the full jet engine-esque sound. Especially if I can give it some full throttle through one of the stations. So we're now on a 1 in 200 downhill, but I don't think that is going to affect our acceleration any. No. So it's now 1 in 166. It's got to be close to, yeah, having us picking up speed, but we're not doing it yet. We do once we're into notch 2 though. Looks like another pretty hefty viaduct there. Oh. Carry on braking a bit, yeah, it's back to 1 in 100 downhill again. I really did want this to be a completely clear run with no speeding errors, but yeah, I've already had 2, so that's well and truly out of the fucking window. But yeah, me selecting, or yeah, making sure that the player train only thing is not selected. Yeah, it's really made a world of difference there, hasn't it? Not one single train so far, and I very much doubt we will see any others until we reach Carlisle station itself. Let's get some more exterior shots. You seem to be in one of the flatter areas of the Lake District here. I mean, admittedly, compared to the Scottish Highlands and and the Cairngorms and all that, I mean, this is fuck all nothing. But yeah, this is the hilliest part of the country. I'm not going to say mountainous because it's not mountains. They're nowhere near big enough. So we're now on a 1 in 183 uphill section. See, I'm not going to throttle up too much so we can get some max thrash as we go through Appleby station. And yeah, you'll get to hear the full jet engine sort of bellows as we go through there. We were picking up some speed there. This 1 in 800 downhill section. Okay, it's got a little steeper now. 1 in 467. Alright, so here we are at Appleby. Let's give it some max thrash. Compared to all the other places we've been through so far, Appleby looks like quite a large town. So there you are, yeah, the full jet engine for you. And for those on the Appleby station platform. Carlisle is now 30 miles away. So don't need notch 4. Okay, now we're on this 1 in 121. Yeah, I think notch 1 is absolutely fine. So, what other things can I say about the Class 59? Quite a heavy bastard thing. It's 126 tons. So when it's doing freight runs, it's more often than not it's Class 7. Which is, yeah, another reason why the 60 mph speed limit of the 51 stroke zeros and 59 stroke zeros and 59 stroke ones was absolutely fine. It you know, being a class 7 freight train meant it couldn't do more than 60. So the start braking pretty hard for this 30 mph limit that's coming up. Now, this is the first of quite a few disused stations on this route. Oh, I'm increasing the braking. I don't want to do that. So once again, braked far too early. But notice with that rather heavy braking I did just there, yeah, not a single bump from the wagons behind me. Gonna have to give this a proper sort of workout at some point with, you know, about 20 or so 20 or so full goods wagons. Yeah, this is this stretch. I have no idea why this stretch has a 30 mph limit. It's dead straight. It's more or less completely flat. I mean, it's 1 in 701. It's so slight, I'm not sure if it's uphill or downhill. So why on earth is this section given such a low speed limit? Absolutely mystifies me. So you've got a power station coming up, which we can already see in the distance. I don't know what power station it is. I mean, I'm guessing it's Sellafield. It's the only power station I know that's around here. But it has sidings for presumably coal deliveries. Well, Sellafield would not need coal deliveries, so I can only assume that therefore means it's not Sellafield, but I've no idea which power station it is. So yeah, anyone watching who knows what that power station is, then yeah, by all means let me know. So we're very soon into the 60 mph section. So here are those sidings that take you into the power station there. and we're now in the 60 MPH zone, so. So yeah, if you know what, I mean, it may not even be a power station. It looks like one though, so that's what I'm guessing it is. But yeah, anyone who knows what that building is, then by all means, let us know. So I do actually have a list here of routes and locos that I'm quite keen to cover or have covered. Now, I'm not going to read out what any of them are because I don't want to sort of, you know, unintentionally influence any requests that come in. But Settle to Carlisle is or was on that list, as was the Class 59. So yeah, I was extremely pleased when I saw this request that come up. And while, you know, I'm not going to refuse any requests unless, you know, they are asking for things that I've said I won't do, or it's something utterly ridiculous, and I did have one of those. You know, so you request anything that's reasonable, then yeah, I am going to do it. But yeah, when I saw this combination, I just thought, yeah, I'm absolutely up for that. So here's another disused station, which clearly must be Colgate, but yeah. Well, at least the level crossing still works. Yeah, there's a couple of visual glitches with the tunnels as we come out. There's another one coming up as well. So Langwasby is the next station. Another fairly small one, but at least it's not a disused one. Once we've passed through there, Carlisle will be less than 20 miles away. Certainly in quite a flat area of the Lake District now. In fact, we may not even be in the Lake District anymore. I don't really know Cumbria all that well, so I mean, it's got so many of these tiny stations. It's got, in fact, yeah, the stations in Cumbria are even sort of like smaller and more remote than the stations in Northumberland. I mean, I'm sure there are some major stations in Cumbria. Carlisle, the obvious one, we know that one certainly is. But, you know, places like Barrow-in-Furness, I mean, Kendal might have a relatively large station. Right, so we're now on a 1 in 110 downhill section, and yeah, our speed is going up as a result. So it's back to the old controlled braking again for a bit. Another disused station that we are approaching. Again, no idea what that station was, but the nearby town or village suggests that it's probably a station that was used rather more than some of these still active stations I've gone through that really are in the middle of absolutely fuck all nowhere, like Ribblehead for instance. So, Lazenby, the next station, named after George perhaps? Yes, I'm well aware that it's spelt differently. It actually is Lazenby and Kirk Oswald, so, you know, maybe George had someone else you know, helping him build that place. Just thought, yeah, I should have killed my speed so that I can give some max thrash as we go through this station. We certainly can't now. I don't really want to be racking up any more speeding errors, so yeah, we're going to have to coast through here. This looks like a fair size, it's either a small town or a large village. So we're on a slight uphill section now. It's not so slight now, 1 in 165. We are still gaining speed at, you know, notch 3, but certainly at nothing like the rate we really should be. Let's take it up to 4. Pretty close to the summit now, so yeah, it's starting to level out a bit. Actually, no, I don't want to throttle up because here we got the downhill section. I know it's not as steep when we're going downhill. 1 in 160. In fact, yeah, we're not gaining any speed while coasting, so we'll keep it in notch 1. And even now it's a 1 in 132. We would still, yeah, still be losing speed if we coast. And even more now that it's leveled out a bit more to 1 in 220. Yeah, it's another tunnel with a bit of a rendering issue as you approach the exit. So, Armathwaite is the next station. Once we are through there, we will be less than 10 miles from Carlisle. another viaduct. No, let's not pick up speed. We'll do as much of a max thrash through armour fight as we can. So, right, here you go. Yeah, I think it's safe to say I didn't quite time it. One in 132 uphill. So yeah, we are losing a fair bit of speed here. So I've got to take it all the way up to notch 5 just to start gaining speed again. Even then it's at a very slow rate, but it's the slow sort of steady rate that we need. Getting quite close to the summit, so need to keep an eye on that so that I don't end up speeding again. Now I'm not sure what this downhill gradient is going to be. 1 in 129. It looks like, okay, yeah, notch 1 we are gaining speed at an extremely slow rate, but that suits me. It's 1 in 132 now. I mean, I would have thought that notch 1 going down a 1 in 132 gradient, our speed would be going up a lot more than it actually is. I'm not sorry that it isn't, but Okay, I'm trying to see why that AWS alert went off there. I can't see anything that tells me why it did. Yeah, we're not changing line over points. Let's see what this next signal is. Well, that's saying everything's all clear. Let's see if the next one has a yeah, it has an AWS ramp, and it's fine. Green light as well. So yeah, no idea what was going on there. Yet another disused station. One looks in pretty good nick. I've no idea why that one was not appearing on the HUD. It didn't look disused. I can only assume it was, but seems like a total waste to me. Okay, so we have a speed decrease to, or max speed decrease to 20 mph in 1.5 miles. That must be around the entrance to Carlisle, which is now only 2.5 miles away. I think we need to start putting some braking on. So not long after that 20, the speed limit does then go back up to 50. The thing is, the entire train obviously has to pass that 50 marker, by which point we're going to be very close to that 20 again, the second 20. So there's no point accelerating once we're in the 50 mph section. Still half a mile away from that 20 mph limit, so we can lay off the brakes for a little bit. Okay, now we'll get us down to 20. So yeah, we're just entering the 50 mph section, but obviously we can't accelerate until the entire train is in the 50 mph zone, by which point, yeah, we're not even a train length away from the 20, the next 20. So it's really not worth us taking it up above 20 mph. So we're in the 20 zone again. Amazingly, it stays 20 for the rest of the time, even while we're pulling into the actual Carlisle station, platform 5. It's still 20 mph. It doesn't decrease further to, like 10 or 15. So yellow signal, which is to be expected. It's 1 in 173, now 1 in 174, is really bringing our speed down a bit, so I want to stay sort of around 20. I don't want to be dropping down to, 15 or so, not yet anyway. Well, I definitely did deselect the driver train only, but yeah, no sign of any other trains, even though we are putting into Carlisle. That is, to put it mildly, quite the surprise. Oh, I don't want to be... Why is it... Yeah, it's constantly increasing when I was meant to be decreasing it, but it kept going up. Oh well. So here we are then at Carlisle station. So that was settled to Carlisle in the class 59. It's a fantastic route, and it's a fantastic loco. Great combination of the two. Yeah, good run that. I did enjoy that one. Let's see how we did. So yeah, 2 speeding errors. Now when I made my attempt last night, I had 7. So yeah, I did significantly better this time. I am a bit miffed about getting those 2 speeding errors though, because yeah, I really would have liked to have done a clear run. But anyway, there we go. That is the settle to Carlisle in the class 59 video done. That was a great vid. Did like that one. So we will see you at the next one.